Here.
All right.
Continue music. I unmuted it and it just won't go. What do I gotta get into where you're at to do it? Where did you get that at? Right on there. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Gotcha. Okay.
We good to go?
Good.
Okay. Housekeeping announcement to start with. Please mute microphone speaker when not speaking. Item 2 is please adhere to the 2-second rule. Allow a minimum of a 2-second pause in between speakers to account for connection delays. A little bit of humor there. So as far as participants, there's me, Cynthia by audio. Haven't heard from Bree yet. John's with us, and Joe is with us audio only, as is Cynthia. And Scott and Nate.
I'm here.
Okay, first item on the agenda is Nate with, pardon? Oh, I'm sorry. My coach tells me you gotta go over the minutes real quick, like, from the last meeting, which was back in February. Did you all get minutes?
I think Bree is tuning in.
Did you all get minutes and have a chance to look them over, or shall I read them?
I have mine.
Okay,
Holman is now
Okay.
joining.
Bree's here.
so Bree's here.
She's on audio, it looks like.
Audio only, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Teams, but it won't let me in.
Okay, so I'm going to read the minutes real quick like. Cynthia Ball, old business, Cynthia Ball asked, this is going to have to stop. Okay, it's off. Sorry. Cynthia Ball asked if there were any tree requests that needed to be discussed. Nate and Melissa Vasallo answered no. These are back from February, don't forget.
We'll have to go down the February minutes.
Right. Nate gave the group 3 stats for January and February, tree stats. The forestry staff has removed 38 stumps and 28 trees. They have completed 70 limb-ups, 8 complete trims, and 61 young tree trainings. Also during those months, that'd be January and February, 32 trees were inspected. No one had questions on this information. The members commented on the great job that the forestry division has been doing. I thought I turned that off, sorry. Tom Spear let everyone know that he, Jim Arthur, and John Parker are registered to attend the North Coast Urban Forestry Conference. That never happened. Jim asked if anyone knew the outcome of the Garfield Avenue tree appeal. Melissa said that it has not gone to court that she knows of yet. In addition, that she thinks only Trevor Hayberger, the law director, will need to attend the hearing. Cynthia spoke about the presentation that Brianne Holman is supposed to give at a commission meeting. Well, that didn't happen either. Excuse me. Well, new business had to do with Jason Whirling and Annette from the Recreation Department attended the meeting to talk about the upcoming Arbor Day event. That didn't happen either. So, those are the minutes. as I know them to be. Okay, moving on then to, are there any additions or deletions or approvals or non-approvals? Okay, the agenda for the day, first order of business is tree stats from Nate.
Okay, so for 2020,
Can everyone hear him?
I can.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
removals, 194, stump removals, 110, limb ups, 210, complete trims, 41, young tree training, 87, trees that we just deadwooded, 11, inspections, 327, storm cleanups, not all those got recorded, but there's 30 of those. Tree plantings for this year, 92. Trees watered, 2,026. That's from the GLRI, we had like 400 trees planted, so we watered them all, different times. On tree inventory, there's 66 trees to be removed and 50 to be trimmed. And we have 152 stumps to be removed. And that's all of the tree stats.
Well, you guys have been busy.
The 66 and the 50, is that remaining for this year, or are you talking about for next year?
That is continuous. It's always changing. We add trees as we inspect them to either be removed or trimmed. So as soon as we get to them. So we're
Okay.
So that's a moving target.
correct.
Okay, so you guys have been busy, no doubt about it. Plus, you gotta help put up the Christmas tree and re-put it up.
Twice.
Twice, yes.
Thank you for those stats, appreciate it. Next item is GLRI Strategic Planting Project Update, replacement trees.
So for that, we had 42 trees that we replaced. Barnes just emailed today, said that they finished up, and we will be inspecting them and watering them in next week.
Okay. So that tree replacement's done, you're saying, as of today?
Correct.
Next item, downtown tree removal and streetscape. Back to the forestry department.
So I think Bree emailed and asked, kind of asked why we did this or why they were removed. Over the last probably year, this year we've been getting a lot of requests or complaints on. We had tree grates that had the stump in them that were cut off from previous years that were dead, and put some planters on them to kind of keep it from being a tripping hazard. So we also had a few trees that were overgrown to the point to where they were pushing up concrete and making a trip hazard in that instance too. So I know that we're looking into a new downtown streetscape, and they haven't made a decision on what we're doing yet, but I think that's coming up here. So in order to eliminate the trip hazard, we reached out to all the business owners or residents that these tree grates were in front of. And we told them what our plan was to remove the grate and put concrete in the meantime until we come up with a more permanent fix to that whole downtown area treescape design or plan. So we thought this was the best route. Nate and I discussed it. We talked about possibly putting new trees in there, but then depending on what they do, if we would have to remove them in the next couple of years, we thought it would, they may damage the tree and kill the tree if we had to pull it out and then replant it somewhere else. And with that confined area, it's hard to get our tree spade in there. The other challenge we had too was to grind the entire root ball off in that little square with our stumper. It was hard. It was going to be hard to get that ground down enough to where Nate felt that it would be sufficient enough to get a new root ball in there, or a tree ball, to where it would not die. So that was the overall thought, and what we bounced back and forth between us in what we could do to satisfy a lot of the complaints we were getting, and not, maybe look forward to what they were going to do an overall scheme of things down the road.
You said a couple of times they haven't made a decision. That bothers me. It sounds like you and Nate have been involved in the decision-making process, though. Is that correct?
When you say made a decision, what I'm saying is that I know our planning department are looking at the downtown treescape and what they want to do overall. I haven't been in depth. I don't know that they've had any in-depth meeting on what the plans are or proposals are. I'm sure once they get maybe some narrowed down, they would bring us in, but we haven't been brought in yet. And I know everything's been delayed with obviously this great COVID that we've been dealing with all year and last year. So.
Okay. So it's,
I got a question.
yep, go ahead.
Well, first off, thanks. I've been questioned about that, and I just wasn't sure how to respond. So, I appreciate both some of the stuff that I got through email and then your explanation. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, and I think that we've brought up the downtown trees before, just in a sense that obviously tree boxes have a particular type of lifespan for those trees, and most of those trees are probably getting too old for them in the first place. So I'm glad to hear that the city's starting to think of, I guess, you kind of said treescape plan and streetscape. I'm not sure is it a streetscape plan that they're developing? Not a treescape plan?
Yeah, not a treescape, a streetscape, the whole sidewalk area and what they want to do in the future. Because,
Right.
I'm sure you guys are
That
aware.
makes sense.
Yeah, I'm sure you're aware, a lot of the brick around those trees have settled over time, and last year we had some of them readjusted and sloped to eliminate trip hazards. So, I think it's a good thing that maybe, looking forward of what we can do in the future to maybe give that tree a little bit more area to grow and the roots. So Nate and I went to a seminar probably 2 years ago, that kind of looked at other cities, Columbus, Cleveland, and what they did and some of the success and some of the failures they had with trees in that sidewalk area there. So that was a good thing. And like I said, I'm sure when they get further along and they'll bring us in for our opinion on it also.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Aaron. To give a little more detail on that process as to what's going on, right now, anything that would be shown in that plan, and it's the Opportunity Zone plan, which the Opportunity Zone encompasses quite a bit of downtown. So that plan is kind of showing some renderings. Now, it's not necessarily saying, here's where trees are going to go or anything like that. When we would get into a design phase of a project is when we would get into exact placement and location and that type of thing. And if they're going to go right back into the same spots and how all that stuff would work. And again, this is just kind of a planning effort right now. But what they did do is they asked us for a list of trees that can be used in the downtown area. And what our goal is, and what I've informed them is that before this plan gets approved and sent out, we would like to make sure that we have Tree Commission gets eyes on it as well to make sure that you guys are okay with what is being shown. So my hope is that we hear something back in the next couple of weeks. I think we should get something back maybe a week or two after Thanksgiving, maybe 3 weeks after Thanksgiving, and then hopefully we can forward that on and see if you guys have any comments on the tree-related portion of it.
Well, I certainly appreciate your remarks, me personally, and you confirming that the city arborist and the tree commission will at some point, when the point is necessary, more toward the end, that we'll have some input. Much appreciated.
Hey, I've got a quick question, if you can, does it include like all the downtown streets, or is this just Columbus Ave, or do you know that at this point, or?
So what I'd say, through you, Mr. Chairman, to Bree, what I would say is that I think it's kind of a twofold answer to that question. The plan encompasses the entire opportunity zone, but the renderings show mostly Columbus Avenue. That doesn't necessarily mean that other portions of the plan, the narrative within the plan, doesn't address trees throughout downtown or doesn't address, a list of trees that would be acceptable for developers or things like that. But the renderings would most likely show some of those focal streets, like maybe Water Street, maybe Shoreline Drive, or not Shoreline Drive, that one we've already done. We're not doing more to that. Columbus Avenue and that type of stuff. But the reference would be for the entire opportunity zone, which is a lot bigger.
How big?
I knew you were going to ask that question.
Ballpark. It's bigger than the old Main Street area between Decatur and Wayne, that kind of thing. It's bigger than that, right?
Yes, and that zone was set by the federal government. So yes, it's bigger than that area.
Okay.
Aaron, at this point, is there any opportunity in the opportunity zone for stormwater features that include, the trees and the tree box areas, or is that not being considered at this point?
Well, I think, again, this is kind of a planning level effort. I think when we get into actual projects and we need to start implementing stormwater and that type of stuff is when we would get into exactly how we would do that. Maybe there could be some reference as to how green infrastructure should be taken into consideration, or it needs to be considered when projects are proceeding with design. Maybe we could ask them to include comments like that.
Okay.
Well, it sounds really exciting. So thank you again for, like Jim said, thank you for letting us be a part of it.
Yeah, and please keep us in the loop at least. So when people ask us questions, we have some idea of what's going on. And what you've done thus far is, again, very much appreciated. Upfront, good planning eliminates a lot of after the fact issues and problems. Aaron, thanks for your input. Okay, next item is the Sloan House tree planting violation at 403 East Adams Street. That's become a favorite cause for me, I guess. I took some pictures, sent them to Elizabeth. Evidently, this guy, we had the issue in front of us back in January, and we sent him a notice that what his plan was not going to fly. Well, somewhere in the last year, he went ahead and planted little weed sumac trees all on his own. So, again, I took some pictures, sent them to Elizabeth, and now we have to decide, as a recommendation, what the follow-up steps are going to be. Are we going to just fine the guy heavily, $100 for each tree, or what? Are we going to threaten him? He's already received one notice that it's not going to fly. So your thoughts on our next step?
Has anyone personally talked to him or no? Or just through letter?
I'm not for sure how he got the notification the first time around. Was it just a letter? Don't know.
I believe it was a letter from Melissa.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the letter was included in the recent agenda and everything for this meeting. Because I know I read the letter.
The date is wrong, but yes.
Elizabeth said that the date is wrong, but yes.
You have the letter there, Jim? Okay. We don't say what our further action is. We just deny the request.
Yeah, I don't have that letter in front of me, so I don't know if we threatened him gave him options. I guess would be more political.
We invited him to come to commission, the tree commission.
He was invited, says Elizabeth, to come to a tree commission and make a personal appeal, which he hasn't done yet. He hasn't taken the initiative to do that.
But he's already planted the trees, so.
So, wait, Jim,
Sure,
did he plant the trees after the letter?
Apparently.
yes. The letter was sent early in the year, January, February. I took the pictures
Okay.
sometime in summer, June, July, something like that. So yeah, they went in after he got the letter. It's on city property, every one of them is. They're on Washington and Franklin both. I didn't actually count the number of trees, but I bet there's more than a dozen.
Okay, do they sign
And
for
you
the
said
letter?
each,
Sorry.
Pardon? What was that, Bree?
We don't have record that they received the letter.
Can we just go and take them out?
Do it in a drive-by.
Yeah,
Drive by,
right,
yeah.
right. I would suggest we send him another letter, given the circumstances, and that he has violated the no plant initial letter, and without really threatening, but there could be consequences to
Please remove planting.
legal consequences.
Give them a time limit?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
Does it go certified or some reason? Can he turn around and just say he never received it, or does he have to sign for it?
Say that he never received it.
Right. So a certified
Just
letter.
say he never got it, yeah. It has
Right.
to be something that we know he got it.
does this now that the planting's there, does this have to go through code enforcement, or does this still get done?
I asked
'Cause I mean,
about
like,
code
the
enforcement.
requests come through, right, the requests go through us, but any code violation's supposed to go through
Exactly.
the,
Department.
I asked
Because
Brad Link about that, and he said that would be within code
I
enforcement,
guess I'm,
somebody else's response.
Right.
Angie, maybe?
out of any of the violations that are within the trees, I mean, like, so say it was a nuisance tree, that would go through code enforcement. So a tree planting, an unauthorized tree planting is also a violation just as much as a nuisance tree would be, right? That's where it's at in the code. So
Absolutely.
I don't, I feel like Todd, or well, in this case, Todd Scott, would only be handling removal or planting requests, period. Everything else has to go through code enforcement, not through us.
Well,
Or
we
through
have an
Dr. Forrest.
ordinance in place. Jim, have you reached out, have you talked to him personally?
No, I'm afraid to.
Okay,
He had a Trump banner hanging from his front porch. I'm afraid he's going to shoot me for violating his rights.
so we do have, in our ordinance, we do have the authority to remove, maintain, trim trees. And we do have the authority where they have to get permission to plant the tree in the boulevard, in the right of way by the superintendent of forestry. So we do have some authority in this. I think the first step would be to resend a letter, certified mail to him to make sure that he gets it. And then we can reach out after the fact and discuss if he has any, or wants to have a discussion about it. But I think we do have the authority to remove them. But I think the right approach would to at least be send the letter and have a discussion with them before we just say, and like Joe said, is give him a timeline where he has, maybe 30 days to dig them or remove them. And, we have a planting request application that he can apply for or that he can fill out. And then Nate would have to go and authorize the species and the size of the tree.
I support what you just said 100%. Quote the city ordinance again, give him a certain number of days. It's coming on to winter. I suppose we should be looking at spring now, March, April maybe, 30 days, 90 days to rectify or make an appeal to this group whenever we meet again.
Correct.
Appeal to us, time limit.
I mean, can you give them just 30 days before the ground freezes, or no?
I'd be more in favor of 60, 90 days. They're not going to be growing at all. They're just sitting there now.
You could give 30 days to respond to, to.
Correct.
Okay, 30 days to respond.
Is typically what we do in engineering and public works.
Good.
Okay,
Right, because if he requests to appeal, we have to make sure that we're giving him enough time to be at a meeting.
right.
Correct.
And we have to let him know when that next meeting's going to be, which we'll talk about later. Okay, another letter sent by certified mail outlining the ordinance again, emphasizing that. Give him the opportunity to appeal within a certain time limit. As Elizabeth said, 30 days to respond. Okay. And I guess we can take it from there. But the ball's back in his court now for the second time.
Yes, if he ever admits getting the first letter.
Yeah, that's true. So this one will go certified.
Okay.
Okay, the last Item under the old business is the 2020 Tree City USA application. It's being prepared even as we sit here now, I understand, including a growth award again.
Yay.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a banquet this year again. Okay, so that's in the works. New business, Nate and Scott, you probably have to speak to this. A tree violation, removal of a crabapple at 1104 Hollywood Boulevard. I guess, according to Elizabeth, the guy was complaining that he couldn't park his RV where he wanted to, so he cut down the crabapple himself. You guys know anything about that?
I know a little bit about it, and then that's through Elizabeth, is that it was turned over to code to where he was parking his RV on the boulevard. That's why it was turned over to them. And then, yes, after the fact, yes, that he removed the tree in order to park his RV on the boulevard.
So he no longer parks his RV on the boulevard.
Correct. He
And
no
we no
longer,
longer have a tree, so he
and we
needs
no
to
longer have a
replace
tree.
the He needs to be billed for the tree.
So, yes. And
So-
I think the only thing we can do is we can impose $100 fine.
I like that idea.
I voted for that.
Okay. Bree, John, $100 fine?
Good with that.
Yeah.
Joe?
I think Joe exited.
Okay.
Did we lose him?
Yeah.
Oh. So Cindy's good, Bree's good, John's good, I'm good. That's 4. That's good enough.
1106 Hollywood?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, Scott and Nate, I got another question. It's not on the agenda. A tree across the street from my house on Erie Boulevard was cut down. I think it was kind of maybe the same issue. The guy's got a big pickup truck and an RV and a boat every once in a while. He parks out on Erie Boulevard. That he went through a normal request to have that tree cut down, didn't he? Because it didn't look like the health of the tree was compromised to me. But we cut it down.
We cut it,
Bun is the name.
Do you have the
I don't
address?
know the name, but did we cut it down or did he cut it down?
You guys cut it down. So it must have gone through the regular process.
Yes.
Yes, if I cut it down, I inspected it and determined that it needed to come
Sure.
down then.
So the process was followed, it sounds like.
Yes.
Okay,
You have the address of that, Jim?
not off the top of my head, but I'll give you a call tomorrow and let you know.
We'll make sure, yeah.
They're nice people, they're not mean-spirited or anything, but I just wondered if he went through the hoops. Okay, that and my add-on is it, except for the 2021 meeting schedule. We never did give the city commission a rundown from the year. I don't know, go ahead.
Again, well, I mean, I think that I'm guessing that the reports that we get on the progress of tree removals and trimming and other maintenance
Right.
are also going to the commission, correct?
Scott,
Is that
does the commission get that information that you share with us?
Repeat that again. What was the question, Jim?
Does the commission get that information that you guys share with us whenever we meet? Tree removals, trimmings, all that?
No.
They don't.
Not that I know of.
No,
Unless they read the minutes.
This is Aaron. Typically, we don't provide an update every month or every quarter or anything like that. Really, the only real update that they get would be the presentation that Bree would give on an annual basis. I understand that didn't happen this year, but that really is the only update. If I don't know what the best means by which to do this, and I guess I would probably ask Commissioner Waddington if his opinion would be that maybe we provide this information to the tree commission and you guys can give that update in a written form, or if you want us to do it, we can certainly do that on a whatever time frame you guys deem necessary.
I'm not opposed myself to us, Bree, making a 10-minute presentation at an upcoming city commission meeting, just to let them know that we're all still alive and doing what we can. What do you think, Mr.
I mean,
Waddington?
I'm not opposed to that, but I just, you know, again, I just don't want to make sure we're doing anything that's redundant. I mean, if it's still warranted, that's fine. I really like the idea of just coming up with like a really brief, almost like fact sheet, annual fact sheet of what we've done. That's a little bit more, you know, graphic involved or something, because then it can be shared, you know, on social media and stuff like that. And I wouldn't mind helping to develop something like that
I hear what you're saying.
in place of a presentation.
For public information, okay.
Personally, yeah, I prefer a 10-minute dog and pony show and tell, whatever you want to call it, in front of the commission. And that does get broadcast out to everyone. And I like the face-to-face kind of thing, more than just another piece of paper that'll just get filed away someplace, probably a waste paper can.
Mr. Chairman.
Well, why don't, maybe we do both? I don't know.
Yeah, Mr. Waddington, you had a question?
Yeah.
concern?
Bree, I like when you did the yearly updates and all the years I've been on the commission. I think that's good. And then maybe some type of graphs where we're at, how many trees planted, cut down, that like a little graph that we could just do a quick handout or put on the city website for if residents have questions. I know myself, I never really got back with the couple folks going back to the trees being cut down downtown Sandusky, why did they use concrete instead, you know, could they use stone or a different type fill? And I never could give them a good answer on that. So just little things like that. I like how you always did the yearly presentation on behalf of the Friends of the Greenhouse and, or the Greenhouse Commission and Tree Commission. But maybe like a follow-up, we could do something online, some type of graphing where folks could access that and see the numbers.
I like that
definitely do
idea.
that, and, why don't we wait till we finish out December? I mean, because I'm guessing there's still going to be a few more things to report on, and it would be nice to get some of the storm removal stuff in there as well.
Okay.
And then why don't we just plan for a beginning of the year? That way we can just kind of recap 2020.
Sounds good.
That's my thought too.
Yep.
Sometime in the beginning of the year, toward the beginning of the year. Which leads us to the next and last item on the agenda is the meeting schedule. We had a hiccup with the last one. We were going to meet in September, I believe, and November. Well, we canceled the September one. So are we going to do like, how? Starting in 2021, every other month now?
We only need to have 4 to qualify for Tree City USA. So if we do every other, that's 6. So if any get canceled in between there, we'd have a couple back up.
So follow through with that. What are you saying, every other month? So we
Every
have
other
6 a
month.
year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, let's skip December and just start with January then.
Yes.
okay, January. I don't have a calendar right in front of me.
So we're looking at still needing to meet virtually, at least at the beginning of 2021. So we need to be able to coordinate with other meetings that are also reserving the commission chambers.
Gotcha.
If you all are happy with Thursdays, the 2 Thursdays that are open each month are the second Thursday and the fourth Thursday.
So we can do the fourth Thursday on the 28th of January.
And if you're happy with the fourth, I can just go through the calendar and send out those invites.
Right,
We'll take a vote and does that work for everybody, the fourth, the last, mainly the last?
I'm fine with
Thursday?
the 4th.
You're okay with the fourth? Okay.
Does that
28 should work for me, too.
28th of this, I'm in on that also.
You're okay with that?
So
Jim?
next meeting will be January 28th.
Next meeting will be January 28th.
Okay,
Yeah, the next
And then
one will
we'll
be
look
like
at March, maybe, whatever.
March 25th, yeah, and we'll go on down the line. Do the 6th in case we have to cancel any, then we still have at least 4 under our belt for the awards. Okay, I'm good with that.
As far as the update to the commission, would you guys like me to present a draft of what we would present, I guess, at the January meeting and then try to do it in February?
well,
Whatever works for her. For you,
yeah, that depends a lot on your schedule, Bree.
I never know if I'm coming or going anymore, so. Just get it on the
Force
calendar
aside,
and I'll
forget
do it.
Oh, Lordy.
So the commission meets the second and fourth Mondays.
Second and
Yep.
fourth Mondays.
Yep.
Okay, so I lost track. We're meeting January 28th, and,
Yeah, are the commission meetings virtual now too? And
Yep.
are the,
yeah, still
okay, so
virtual.
they're doing
Everybody.
guest presentations are virtual?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry to say. So we will discuss a city commission presentation on the January 28th meeting.
Yeah, and our
Of the
treasurer
tree
is
commission.
Right, February 8th to the 22nd for the commission.
Yeah, and I don't know if anyone has spoke with Jason at all from the Recs department, but I've been on discussions of just different events that I do at the conservation district. And the guidance from the health department has told me, don't even plan on anything over 10 people until July.
Yes.
So-
I
Oh,
heard
wow.
that also.
Jeez.
So I'm not sure what our ideas are for Arbor Day this year. Obviously, our last plans, kind of got canceled last minute. So if we kind of already anticipating that we're not going to be able to do the traditional Arbor Day celebration, we might want to think of some ideas
For
to do
virtual.
some type of virtual thing.
Okay.
And maybe we should try to discuss that in January.
Okay,
Because I'm thinking one of the parts of the presentation that I've usually done is always kind of like a segue into our Arbor Day celebration. So
Okay.
we'll just need to know what that's going to be.
gotcha.
Okay. Recap in January then, presentations February.
So that's 2 items on the January 28th meeting, Arbor Day discussion about how to handle that, and the,
Recap the stats.
commission meeting presentation.
And then brief presentation. Okay. Very good.
And whatever else comes up. that seems to be it. Thank you, everyone, for participating. Have a nice holiday as best you can.
Yep.
Yep,
Have a nice holiday. Thank you.
thank you.
everybody.
Bye.
And so far, the Ohio State-Indiana game has not been canceled yet.
Good.